Okay, so we got the gas tank mounted in, and that is all undercoated, sealed up. The floor is done, so we covered that up in plastic so we're not getting that all totally full of garbage. We got the front end motor is installed, brake booster is installed, brake pedal is installed, battery box. Most of the major stuff, the steering column and that actually showed up yesterday. So we'll get started on that as soon as we finish up the interior. So it might look like we're heading backwards in the wrong direction as far as that goes. The dash is out, or the dash skeleton is out, so we can get this center console mounted. Gonna do some modifications to the bottom of the dash skeleton that we took out so that it matches up to this a little bit better and tighter, so that when we cover it, it looks nice and seamless and perfect. So we're gonna start cutting cardboard, getting pieces to fill in around this thing, get it mounted nice and solid. Alright, so here is the center console. That little piece I was bending up over on the other side. That all fitted in. Nice seam around it. That gap filled in underneath. Closed up the holes in the tunnel. Put some braces in on my side pieces going in. And this is good and solid. So last thing I got to do on the center console is build a box to go in here. We're changing everything because I just didn't like it. So
we have modified our plans. It's a roll as we go.
So this is going to move over so it's more symmetrical with this side. It gives me a little more room here. I'm going to mimic this curve on this side, so that this whole area here is symmetrical. And then I'm going to figure out where we're going to run the panel in the middle for the screens and everything to go to. Biggest issue is the 62 was further forward. So this panel on the 62 would have been further forward, but that would have messed with our door. So the dome here is much larger and goes further back than on the 62, which means this has to come further forward to meet up with the center. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Because the center console also came from our 62, which we figured out how we absolutely are going to utilize that. So everything else has to be made to fit with it.
Yeah. And these are removable, and this is removable. So I'm making this to match that, and then I'll build all the understructure so that those can attach on it. And then we'll figure out where we're gonna put our screens and everything.
And all the cool stuff yet to come.
So that's what's happening here. I'm just cutting all this out of here because it's ugly. Starting over.
Okay, carry on.
Whoa!
That's impressive. I have it on tape.
Right there.
Until you want it in the car again.
See, this is where you would normally be smart and you would get two of them.
You do
Then I
have
just
two
end
of
up
them.
with two over there and two in here, or none where I want them. Grab the wrong piece. Man. You're walking here. That's what we named the show. The Forgetful Fabricator.
EJ has been just destroying this place with chunks of metal and pieces of metal, getting his dash finished up.
Yep, completely rebuilt the bottom so it looks a lot more like the 63 and everything lays out and is a lot smoother. Those little knee kick panels will get foam on them and those will be nice and sculpted. We put in a little door here that we're toying with the idea of hiding our screen in so it flops down. The knee kicks actually form into the center console like they would have in the 63. This will all be a nice trim panel once we decide on the finish, whether it's going to be
We don't know.
brushed stainless or what the finish, but this will be a nice metal finish and that'll wrap up around and turn into the doors. I've got the door side almost done. I've got a little more welding and fitting to do on there and got that formed into the dash, so I need to copy that on the other side. And then this lower section,
Wait, I can't get there quick enough. Little legs.
yeah, that's fine. And then this lower section where we're going to do the knee kick will then nicely gap and turn into an armrest piece that'll run down the center, so it'll break between the top panel, trim metal, armrest, and the
Rest of the interior.
Yep. So we're close. The closer I get the frame, the less fiberglass we have to do, the better it's gonna look, the easier it's all gonna be. So fiddle, mess around with little gaps until I think it's perfect, and then fiberglass.
And then, ta-da!
Yeah, and then it'll be perfect. You'll see. I've got all of the armrest, lower kick trim pieces, we're calling them for lack of a better word, done. We carved all of that out of 8-pound foam, so those can be rewrapped and match the lower center console when that goes together. We built new door tops and molded those so that they will fit perfectly into the dash when the doors are shut, because those were all rusted, rotted out in the wrong shape. So now we can actually pull the dash out. This will be the last time you're going to see it and be able to see through it.
Won't be a
actually
skeleton
get it all
anymore.
in fiberglass, get the doors fitted, all the gaps right, everything perfect, and get it so that we can actually shore the car up. I've got some shims put under the body to deal with, and I want to paint the firewall and inner fenders so that we can put it together for the last time and get it to body work. Alright, well here's the dash back out for like the 15th time. We've got the little secret door mocked up. This is where the screen will go. And then that will tuck back up. So we're going to get everything fitted right, ground, welded, all the doors closing correctly. Got a few modifications to do to the tube where the column goes through for the wiring and everything to fit so that can clamp in tight. And I'm gonna get that all done, all the fab fitment and stuff done over here, and we will move it next door and start doing some body work on it, make it perfect. Alright, so we got a bunch of parts in, and we've got the body off of the Thunderbird for now. Like I said, we wanted to add a couple of shims to get the body up just a 1/4 inch higher. Put a couple pieces of rubber on the frame rails just to keep stuff from rattling in the future. We've got the spacer for the crank pulley now, so we can get the rest of the serpentine set up together. I have fitted and installed the headers, and they fit beautifully. So we are going to go grab some heat wrap and get those wrapped before they put the body back down on here on both sides there. And then before the body goes back on, I want to run some transmission lines, hard line down across and over to about where the motor mounts go. And then we will use a flex fitting there and run those back up to the radiator or cooler, however that ends up working out when the time comes. But then we're not sitting here trying to reach into this little teeny hole once there's a big tunnel in the way to try to get those on, and possibly having the risk of them not getting tightened down and having a leak. So we'll get that done. And then I also have the plug right here, so we're going to plug that in and hang a tail down just in case. We shouldn't have any problems with the speedometer gear getting that in once the car's up or getting the exhaust handled. But I want to get the rest of this stuff knocked out real quick and measure for the drive shaft, and then this body can go back on. I am painstakingly sitting and trying to perfectly cut out these cardboard templates so that I can make steel panels that will cover with platinum covering to make them look like really nice trim to go in between all of this vinyl and this nice brown that's going in the car. So I'm going to get that worked on today. I'm going to work on getting the switches and cup holder assembly stuff so I know exactly what size to make those pieces there. And then underneath that rear piece of cardboard is the old ashtray that we're eliminating. So I need to modify that and keep the back area back here where the center console compartment door is going to latch. So we'll get that handled. And then we're going to move on to this back package tray area where I'm going to be removing about 3 inches to make the passenger compartment a little bit bigger, and so we can get these seats to recline back and have plenty of leg room and be a little more comfortable. Here's the center console trim piece all installed. We got a couple little pieces of trim that go down each side. That'll trim that off nicely. Once everything's wrapped in fabric, we'll put those on, and then this will have that platinum covering put over the whole thing. Got the cup holder installed. These aren't going to be the screws that we're going to be using to attach everything, but that's what's holding it in place for now. These window switches are what we're going to use for our volume and tuning on the stereo. And this up here, if you look real close, it's this nice little piece of trim we built that's going to end this top edge off, and then this door and a couple other pieces will also be wrapped in that same platinum. So it looks like that nice metal trim. Here's my little gate shifter set up. It's on a track underneath, and this will actually move inside with the shifter. And then those little lines right now are just to mark the different gears, and we're going to make a decal that runs across here and paint a little line next to the shifter so that'll point to what gear you're in. Super simple and easy. And then of course we got our little door here that the touch screen and everything will go in for navigation, backup camera, all of that stuff. So that is pretty much all set. Next, we're going to move on to these 2 trim panels that go on each side of the steering column. Okay, so it took a lot of modifying, welding, moving stuff around. They look like they're just a flat cutout steel panel, but that's actually like 4 different pieces of steel all bent together. It laps over both edges, curved the front edge so it actually meets in with the trim on the front of the dash, comes right around, meets up with that center console. This side comes back around. I got the 2 panels on each side of the steering column. The gauge cluster isn't in because that's already been done and actually out to chrome already. We ended up moving the heater switches down here into the center console, and those will get knobs that match the knobs on the gauge cluster. The gauge cluster has the switches for the wiper and to dim the lights, turn the lights on, all of that. And then we've got this section here on this side. We don't have the door handles in on this side yet, but that panel is done. When the dash comes off, I've got to straighten out that bottom edge of the dash so that that actually comes straight forward. But other than that, everything is fitted. So I got the back piece cut out and mocked up in place, just kind of held in place with some clamps right now. Never tell by looking at it that we did anything back there at all. The seats, I need to pick up some hardware, but they are pretty much mounted. They're in the full back position right now. So there's plenty of room. I can even get my long legs in there, and I actually have to move the seat forward a little bit, which is freaking phenomenal. You need to work on modifying the steering wheel, but the makeshift one is in, and the steering is actually freaking attached, so we can actually steer the car now, which is awesome and was super simple. Got our call out to Be Cool for a correct radiator and fan setup. So I should be hearing back from them here shortly and getting that on its way. I guess tomorrow we will get this package tray welded up back in, get all of the structure back in it, get the seats actually bolted down, leveled where we want them. I'll start working on that steering wheel and brake pedal, gas pedal, and the interior will be pretty much done, ready to wrap it up and paint it and make it pretty. Extremely overly built piece of trim for the back of the car. That will be wrapped with a pool noodle.
A pool noodle?
You'll see. It's gonna work. It's gonna be perfect. I love it.
It's gonna be great, you'll see.
So we finally have the pipe bent. That's going to come around the back and be padded for our surround for the rear end. I am going to make another piece similar to this for the other side. Then I'm actually going to cut this ridge off here, so this piece will weld right to the pipe, and this will be a removable piece that we will put foam on, and that will get wrapped and match the material that's on the door tops. And then I also built these pieces, which screw through on the top right here, and then these will have little notches cut out that the convertible top will hook into. So we're going to get that all done and together, fit the top on, make sure everything's good. I've got a little fiddling to do with the center console trim piece, and then I want to get the brake pedal and gas pedal dealt with, and then the interior is ready to go.